I did a song basically that was popular around that time, and I did good to the point where now it was time for me to perform it the next day, but I was shy because I was performing in front of the older crowd in that school, and I was just intimidated by that. And I remember not doing it, and my teacher being upset with me and everything like that, saying like that's gonna hold you back. And if you got real talent, she was like, and you do, this is what's gonna hold you back, being shy. And I remember her telling me that. That's how you made me in my heavens. I know I did some dirt and I ain't innocent. In isolation as I reminisce. The real reason you niggas switch. It was all about the Benjamin. It's up. Hey, what's going on, family? I want to welcome everybody back to another video. Welcome back to K74. For those that's watching for the first time that don't know, that is my brand, K74, where I'm bringing you anything that I could bring to you as far as creativity when it comes to music, video, but my whole thing is I want to give it to you organically. I want to grow organically. So I know my following is basically a solid following, and I know that I'm giving you creativity, no holds bars. I'm in control of everything. That's one of the main reasons why I did this, and I learned everything that I learned as far as setting up everything, editing. Over the years, just learn how to record myself doing music, mastering it, because I just wanted full control over me, which I felt like was talented enough to invest in. Over the years, just experimenting with me and my talents that I have, I just acquired so much knowledge that led me to the point where I am now. I take honor in knowing that I took the time out to learn what I learned, and that I see that I'm growing thanks to the information that's out there and people willing to share the information, because honestly, without that, I wouldn't, it'd have been much harder. I would have learned because I'm dedicated to learn, certain things behind the scenes when it comes to entertainment. I feel like it get to a point where it's like, okay, you reach a time where you over like the starstruck, and just the infatuation of your favorite artist, actor, athlete. I feel like for me, it never really was about that, even though, I salute anybody out there that's working hard and doing what they got to do for their family, no matter what field it's in, as long as, you doing it correct, doing it legal. So I always salute those that's working hard out there, and it shows through their work, no matter what field they in, as far as the entertainment field, whether it's dancing, acting, music, anything, comedy, you know what I mean? Because like I said, that's just something I always been interested in growing up. Nothing really else interests me. And being that I have certain talents myself, I'm like, I want to just learn more. I was always more intrigued by the behind the scenes, because I remember like growing up hearing things on the radio and everything, and just was like, I wonder, like I know that I sing or whatever, and I grew up singing in church and stuff like that, but I always knew that it didn't sound as good as like the radio record or something like that, something professionally mixed and all that, so I always just was young and wanted to learn, like, how could I get my sound the best it could be? And once I got serious on that journey in 2013, a friend of mine, Lex, he realized that I had a MacBook Pro, and he said, you know that it's a free program that comes with that a free recording program, because he seen that I was going to the studio. He was like, yo, you can record yourself. And he told me about GarageBand. So once I looked into that, I learned that, and then I just started growing. Next, I went and looked into Logic Pro X, started learning that. Later on down the line, learned Pro Tools, and right now I'm currently working with Luna and Universal Audio, Apollo Twin X. I really still feel like a beginner, but I do know a little more than I did yesterday. But I still feel like I just still got a whole lot to learn because, like I said, I'm self-learned and I'm going off of videos that I'm seeing online, which are credible, but it's nothing like really learning from a master, like hands-on, which I haven't reached that level yet, but I will. A little backstory on the history of me. Basically, I did a couple performances when I was young, like performing in front of the church, because my mom felt like I had a voice that she wanted to kind of mold. Or she felt like the church choir would mold it, and that, so she put me on the choir. And it didn't last long because I was extremely shy growing up. Like, so that didn't last long. And then I remember doing a performance in sixth grade, fifth or sixth grade. I believe it was fifth. I did a song basically that was popular around that time, and I did good to the point where now it was time for me to perform it the next day, but I was shy because I was performing in front of the older crowd in that school, and I was just intimidated by that. And I remember not doing it, and my teacher being upset with me and everything like that, saying like that's gonna hold you back. And if you got real talent, she was like, and you do, this is what's gonna hold you back, being shy. And I remember her telling me that. The thing with that, growing up, I heard basically, raw talent, and it just became a part of who I was. It wasn't really nothing that I was trying to show off. I actually was trying to hide it, and didn't want people to know about certain talents that I had. That's just how it is growing up in a certain environment. Like I said, I just tried to hide it. Yeah, my history is I grew up around raw talent. I grew up around, a mother that sung every day, all day. Beautiful voice, you know what I mean? Like I didn't never get tired of hearing it. And then my little sister, Nina, would learn that she had to discover she had a voice. And, she was younger than me, so I heard raw talent throughout my family. My dad, he does music, he sings, he writes poetry. Then, I had an aunt Cynthia that had an amazing voice. My cousin Tawana, amazing voice. So I grew up around raw talent. I know what it is. I was just surrounded by it. So it's just in me. You know what I mean? So I never really, like I said, wanted to show it off. I just felt like it was just normal. Then my brother, my older brother was very talented. He wrote a poem in school, and, it got so much attention in school, the poem that he wrote, one of the poems that he wrote. And then he went on to writing music and just talented. That's just a little history on why I do what I do, why I record music. The film part is more of kind of me, more or less. I guess, yeah, I guess I'll be the first one to actually dive into film and learning how to record and do editing and stuff like that. As far as the music part, like I said, I just grew up around it. My dad, he still does the mixing and mastering and recording himself to this day. So just something that's in my family. The film is something that I always, as far like always got me interested in, learning, because, nowadays it's like recording yourself and depending on whatever you was born in, it's like second nature. Kids that was born into growing up with cell phones and video, Like they could do that, like no problem, edit a video, shoot a video. Growing up in that era, that's what got me more into like trying to capture good moments on video and doing things like that. Recently, I got serious about it and just started getting more equipment, better equipment, because like I do want to present my talents to an audience that's gonna appreciate it. And I felt like, doing all my research, I felt like that YouTube is gonna be the best place for me for now to try to get that done and build an organic audience. But I know I also got to get out there and do the footwork, which I'm willing to do. Definitely going to get it done, because it's not all about online. And so I know I got to get out there and I'm going to be putting the footwork in. Like I told you in previous videos, that I'm just getting back settled in here in New York City after spending 2 months in Colombia. And so it's still things that I need to get done. I also still got to build the studio up even more because I'm not satisfied right now. And basically, like I said, I want to eventually work with other people, and I just want to have it more in a more comfortable environment. So I just still got lots of work to do. Because I know y'all not just trying to see my face all the time on video. So I definitely got to get that out there and show y'all what K74 is about and how I do move around, how I move around like no other. Don't want to wait. And I do have videos out there now showing when I was living in Colombia before coming back here. I got episodes. I'm not sure how many episodes offhand right now, but it's a couple. It'll definitely hold you over until I start getting back into the groove for things. I watch videos, and to me, I feel like when it's organic, when it's real, when it's different, that's when it counts the most. That's what I'm gonna bring y'all. So with that being said, I want to just talk about another topic here. I just want to give my opinion on, like, when people say that they want to take basically from the rich and give to the poor. Like, I want y'all thoughts on this too, but my thoughts on it is that it's just something that I can't really agree with. I'm just thinking of me. Like, I'm not rich by any means, but you have to have the mindset of wanting to achieve whatever you can achieve that you're able to achieve, whether that be the most, somewhere in the middle, or just staying consistent. I'm feeling like to anybody that has that mindset of like, yo, I want it all, I'm going to strive until I get it. Like, just think of you getting it and then somebody telling you that you have to give whatever you got to somebody else that's less fortunate, but able to get it also. If everything, the playing field is the same, which we know that a lot of times it isn't. We can't go off of that right now. So we just going off of the scenario, like you personally came, grind all the way from the bottom to the top, and then somebody's coming to you saying that you have to give what you made to somebody that's, less fortunate. So, like I said, to me, that wouldn't really sit right with me. For the simple fact, like, nobody knows what a person did to even get what they got. People actually selling their body to get money. I don't advise that, but at the end of the day, people is real. It gets done. So let's say somebody did that. Like, that's something you're not willing to do. You know what I mean? Like, so at the end of the day, how you gonna feel entitled to that when this person did something that they probably didn't want to, but they felt like, you know what, this is an option I'm gonna use. You know what I mean? And then for a fact you're not doing something like that, but you still feel entitled. Like, that's how I pretty much look at it. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's just my opinion. You know what I mean? But y'all could definitely put your opinions and with your thoughts on it. To each his own. That is just something that was on my mind. I wanted this video to pretty much be giving y'all a background of my music history and why I pretty much, chose this field in this lane to pursue. And pretty much that's it in a nutshell. Honestly, I don't want to keep saying like, share, subscribe, or because to me that sounds too much like everybody else what they say on their videos, and honestly I don't want to do that. That's the whole point of me making my page, to be different and bring a different, something different. So I'm gonna end it like, yo, y'all do what it do, y'all the internet, y'all do what it do.